Good evening, and we are live with another episode of Let's Talk Broncos, hosted by Kurt Valenti. Hi, Kurt. How you doing tonight?
I am doing very well, Mrs. Valenti. I'll just say that I'm doing very well, even though the circumstances.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you're still on because you've done the trifecta of podcasts this evening. You had your
hmm
usual K and K show where you were on with your co-hosts Kenny and Scoops and Carson and Paul and Sis, and you did some producing from the background of one of our All In on High School Sports episodes with our host Gabby Higgins hosting the football team, and now here you are to talk some Broncos.
Yeah, did a lot, love it, and listen, I don't know where this show is going to go. This show is going to be a little different tonight, Jen. A little different tonight. I think that people probably think my blood's going to be boiling tonight, and I think I'm going to shock a lot of people, Jen. I think I'm going to shock a lot of people. So,
Well,
anything else on our shows before
yeah,
we
before
get
we
going?
officially get started, we just like to, run the list of all the different things, the content we're providing. So, you're doing a Bronco show. Your K and K co-hosts Kenny and Paul are doing a New York Giants podcast as well. That will be airing on Monday of next week, just ahead of their Monday Night Football game. Claws and Clams do a Saturday morning show. If you want to get some wagering tips, that's a good thing to tune into Saturday morning at, is it 11 a.m.?
Yes, usually 11 a.m.
11 a.m. You have your K and K on Wednesdays. Thursdays, you have another Wits and Wager show as well. And then we have our high school content where we do our usual Tuesday evening show at 8 o'clock. And we have branched out to cover some sports specific to their high schools. And we have interns from St. Mary of Rutherford, Beckton High School, West Essex, Kearney, and working on some others as well. So that kind of runs the gamut of the content we're providing.
Okay.
All right, but
Awesome. We do a lot of awesome things. Again, please go check the Giant Show with Kenny and Paul. It's awesome. Scoops and I are setting up a show. We do our K and K, Carson and Clams, and but you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready, Jen. I'm ready to talk Broncos. I've been I guess a little shocked for the past couple of days, but listen, let's get this over with. Let's
all
do
right.
it.
Well, before you officially start, let me just read some thoughts here. We got Mark Calderio checking in. What is up, Kurt? Not good for your Broncos, buddy, with several thumbs down.
No, not
And
up,
Jody
not good.
Moncrief saying, "Brave man, reliving this garbage again."
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump into my opening statement, Jen.
Yep, go for it.
You know, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, it's over. It's not gonna scream, not gonna get excited, not gonna get upset. It's over. It's done. As a coach, Jen, I've been on both sides of a game like this. Big time wins and also a couple big time losses. And you know what? It's over. It's done. You got to turn the page. You can't go back. But my opening statement is the Denver Broncos and the organization. It's it's from what happened on Sunday. It's a little different of what the reality is right now. And what I mean by what the reality is nobody's safe. Players, coaches, nobody's guaranteed to be here before the trade deadline, after the trade deadline. It's things Sunday opened a lot of eyes. The word quit, not just from me and every ordinary fan, from Mark Schlereth, Rod Smith, Terrell Davis. You can't have the team quit. It's just that's something that is just unacceptable at on a pro level. But there's nothing we can do, and this is why we hired Sean Payton. I think this is Sean Payton's team. I think Sean Payton, they made a couple moves in free agency, obviously a couple draft picks, but 90% of the team was given to Sean Payton of what's left. And, I think after Sunday, it opened a lot of eyes for Sean Payton. And I said it before on K and K, a lot of people are playing for their Bronco career starting this Sunday. I know we have a couple comments, Jen.
I was just going to say, do you mind if I get these in here?
Yes.
First, I'm going to bring up Jody Moncrief's. He's more upset that they set Russ up to fail, right? With your best wide receiver. Only is that, you know what? I put the comment up. I can't see it now because it's too small for me. Commit to the run. Our best wide receiver plays 15 snaps. And then you might get to this, Kurt. I'm going to throw it up now. You don't have to answer it now because I have a feeling you're going to get to this. Another question from Keith Brugman. Keith, if you want to, it's on the slate, I'm pretty sure. Kurt, do you believe Vance Joseph should have been fired after
Yeah, I'll answer that right now. Absolutely. Absolutely. I was never a fan of Vance Joseph. I wasn't a fan. I didn't want him to get the head coaching job. And there was a stat before that showed everywhere he went, when he went into Arizona, he had the year after he had a worse defense, So but you can't just have that performance. But we're going to see we're going to see how the players respond and respect him on Sunday. Because I think if this happens again on Sunday, and not 70 points, but I mean, a poor defensive performance, I think then he will be gone. You give the players one chance to really show, do you want to play for Vance Joseph? And are you willing to put it all on the line for your defensive coordinator? We're going to see, but I would have fired him. I mean, going forward, Keith, I don't see him as our defensive coordinator when we become a championship contender down the road. So again, it was a bad hire. And I would have fired him. Absolutely.
Kurt, I have a follow-up question to that, because you make a great point about, the defense. We will see how much they respect him, right? Like coming back from this, because I'm going to be honest, I feel like they quit on the field that day already on him, but, do you think that Sean Payton holds some clout in having them respect Vance Joseph? That, yes, he's the DC, but you still have a head coach, who's standing behind Vance Joseph. How do you think that's going to play into it?
Yeah, again, it's why I absolutely love Sean Payton. We're going to get into the problems with the Broncos, because it's comical when you start hearing he's done nothing with the offense. Russell Wilson's it's comical. And I said it like, I'll get into it in the next couple segments. But
all right, let me get these other comments in here. Keith Brugman saying that Peyton said after taking a long time to hire his coaches that he would be slow to hire, quick to fire. If that's the case, why is Vance Joseph still here?
Yeah.
We got Kenny saying, I don't ask why they didn't fire Vance Joseph. I ask why he has a consultant not being brought in, right? And then Mark Calderio saying, same thing, right? What he saw was the defense just give up.
Well, I'm just going to say this to Kenny. If I have to bring a consultant in, to
just get
him,
a new coach.
Why did I hire him and why am I keeping him? I mean, this is it. Listen, last year Nathaniel Hackett needed consultants because he was just a total train wreck. He just wasn't ready for that job. He should have never got that job.
And you could argue that he should have been fired as well.
Right. But that's, we have a Super Bowl head coach in charge. And, how can I say this? The leader of men, right? Leader. I know they say that franchise, but Sean Payton is the true leader. Now, this is Sean Payton's franchise. It's not George Payton. He is GM in name. He will probably be gone at the end of this year. Every move that will be made for the Broncos will be made by Sean Payton. He'll bring his own guy in, and that's how it should be. But he did hire Vance Joseph, and we're going to see. We're at a crossroads where now, we're going to find out. It's not even about talent anymore. We're going to find out who's going to be on this Bronco roster going forward. And what I mean by that is, this is why I love the Walton Penner ownership. Okay. They have shown in every situation so far that they're going to financially give every inch, every ounce of, flexibility for this, whatever they need, they're going to put the money into it. And it might come down to, hey, Randy Gregory is owed this much money and it's going to cost that much dead cap. I don't care. I want him gone. Justin Simmons, I want him gone. Cortland Sutton, I want him gone. It's got to come down to that now. These players have been here. These players have not delivered, and these players on Sunday did. I'm not going to say Cortland Sutton, but Gregory Simmons didn't play. But a lot of these guys, they did not show the effort on the defensive side of the ball, and it's something that Bill Parcells would have done. It's why he was so successful, and it's not going to be a money thing anymore. We can't have these players in this locker room. Sean Payton needs his players. Sean Payton knows what it is to win in the league. He's one of the best that's ever done it. And he's here to win. It's not about he's here for money. He flat out said he wants to be the first coach to win the Super Bowl with 2 different franchises. So, it's not about much. There's going to be tough decisions being made. Again, you might be trading an all-pro Justin Simmons. You might just be flat out releasing a Randy Gregory. We got to do what we got to do. The thing is, he's given them this week and next week because there's no excuses. You're going up against Justin Fields and Zach Wilson or Trevor Siemian. But either way, they're terrible, poor quarterbacks. So if this defense and these players want to be here, Jen, and they want to play for Vance Joseph, but not even Vance Joseph, they want to be a Bronco, they got 2 games, 8 quarters to show what they're all about, to see if they're going to be on this roster going forward.
All right. You want to, that's your opening statement. You want to jump right into, I threw up some comments there. Another one might have come in here. Hang on. Sean Payton is a true leader. This is on Payton. He's in charge of the team. 1, bad hire. 2, leave your starting quarterback in trailing by 50. 3, not taking any blame for this awful start. And the other coach, you would be wanting him gone, Kurt.
No, first off, you know what? Now, what did I tell you, Jen? We were watching that game. What did I tell you about this? No. You guys put us in the mess. I'm not taking you out. You defense, you stay on that field. You give up 90, that's on you. Same thing with Russell Wilson. We still got. Listen. I'm very happy with the offense, but take him out for what? I'm not taking him out for anything. Stay in. This is like an old school Sean Payton team now. We're not taking people out. This isn't like Pee Wee football. You stay in, especially defense. I'm rewarding you to take you off the field. Nope. You got us in the mess. Finish us and get us out of the mess. Don't take anybody off the field.
All right. Want to roll into your thoughts about Sunday?
Yeah. Listen, again, this is it's done. It's over. We all know the stats and all that. I'm not going to look into. They gave up 70 points. They gave up. Listen, they didn't come to play. Okay. They weren't prepared. Their game plan stunk defensively. It was just a complete mess. Sometimes you know what you do. I forgot we were at St. Mary's one time. We didn't even watch the film. Didn't even watch it. Just go to Monday, next game. Something you just have to do it sometimes. The issue isn't Sunday. The issue is this Sunday. What do these guys do to respond? Are you going to half-ass it like that defense did? Or are you going to come out, and it's not even about shutting down. Listen, the way Justin Fields is playing, he might be the worst quarter. Him and Zach Wilson might be the worst 2 starting quarterbacks in football. So it's not even about that. But are you going to, how much hustle are you going to show? Randy Gregory, you're getting all that money. Can you please show up? Can you please show up? Can you do something? So this is again, this now, I'm not talking about records. I don't want to talk about playoffs. I don't want to talk about wild cards. This is now who is going to be on this team for the future. That's what these I don't even want to say next 14 games because you have a trade deadline. So the next 5-6 games, people are going to play for their Broncos. And I don't care who it is. I'm going to be totally honest. I don't care who it is. I'm a big fan. We'll get to who I want to keep, but like Cortland Sutton, sorry. I mean, Mims has to play. Right now, our 2 best receivers are Mims and Jerry Jeudy. So either do something or I ship you out. Kenny's Giants need a receiver. I'll send you over there. Justin Simmons, you're a captain. You're an all-pro player you're supposed to be. You got 4, 5, 6 weeks to make plays. Do something in the backfield. Randy Gregory, Allen, DJ Jones. Listen, everybody right now, there's nobody, unless you're in that rookie class that Sean Payton drafted, you don't owe anything to anybody. So, and I'm talking more on the defensive side. Same thing with Vance Joseph. Same thing with those assistant coaches. Your game plan stunk. Let's be realistic. It was horrendous. Mike McDaniels abused your game plan. So, I'm not going to say the effort was there. It wasn't, which made it worse. But game plans, guys just running wide open. Third play of the game, they scored. I mean, that was your opening defensive plan. 3 plays they scored. So, no.
Kurt, let me get to a couple comments on that. I just threw up the comment from Jody Moncrief since you just a nice little segue into the defense a little bit. Jody saying that 24 missed tackles, what a joke, right? And then we have a question from Keith Brugman. Sean Payton said he would be, quote unquote, pissed off if the Broncos weren't a playoff team. Will Payton be pissed come week 18? He wants to know what you think.
Yes,
Or
I
are we
do.
gonna...
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And, he looked at this team. And again, we're going to get to what he has done. You want to jump to it? Let's just jump to it, because I saw the other day everyone talked about the offense has been and the offense has been a joke for the past couple of years. Let's be honest. We've been, if not the worst, a bottom 3 offense for a lot of reasons, for our head coaches, our offensive coordinators, all that kind of stuff. But I like our offense. You're going to get people, they only scored 13. But if you really watch the game, right? If you really watch the game, there's not many 3 and outs. We're moving the ball up and down the field. Russ looks, we'll get to Russ's stats and whatever. Russ looks like Russ. So I think offensively, he fixed it pretty damn quick. Okay, we're a respectable offense now, Jen.
Well, on that note, interestingly, Kenny's posed a question for you. You're a huge fan of Peyton, but why won't he commit to the run?
Like, when he says commit to the run, do you want more runs? Yeah. I think we've been decently balanced. I truly do think we've been balanced. You get down 70-20, you're down 40 points, 50 points. You can't really run the ball, right? That you can't run the ball. Could they have a little more earlier in the game? Yeah, but again, a lot of teams I think are defending us to be a run first team. More guys in the box. We take our shots where after the first week, I heard Kenny and other people complaining, why doesn't Russell Wilson throw the ball deep and take shots? Now we take shots. They want to say, I want to run the ball. You can't have everything. I like being a run first team. I think we eventually will be a run first team, but it's got to be everything. Our defense has to help us. We have 6 possessions against the Raiders. You just can't run it all 6 possessions. So
I feel like that's the shame of it right now. I feel like your offense looks so much better than it has, and I'm going to use the term in years. And unfortunately, you come in thinking you're going to have this great returning defense, and now it's like you can't get the two to jive. Like the defense can't do its job, the offense can't get into a groove. Like it changes when defense plays this way. It changes the entire landscape of the game.
Yeah, and again, it's shocking because there is a lot of talent on this defense. A lot of talent, right? Simmons, Gregory, you got DJ Jones, you brought over Allen. Obviously, you got Surtain, but scheme is important too, Jen. And I don't trust the scheme by Vance Joseph. All 3 games, he has not had an answer in any game. He hasn't had an answer in any game. If it's like, okay, we got to get off the field. Let's get off the field. Let's dial up some blitzes. Let's play, let's not blitz. Like he doesn't change anything. If it doesn't work, right? Like if it doesn't work, you have to change it on the fly. You might have to change your whole, as a coach, you might go in there and say, this is my game plan. After 2 series, I can't run this. I'm not as good as this team. I can't stop this. Listen, as a coach, I've done it. You work all week. This is what we're going to do. You get there and listen, we can't do it, man. We can't move. You got to go 360 and get out of it. That's what Vance Joseph doesn't do. So again, going forward, everybody's getting evaluated. Now that's where this franchise is. It's not about wins. I'm not saying not about wins, but it's not about what our record should be. It's not. We have to go into Sunday and see if anyone's not going to compete, who's going to constantly make bonehead plays, fumbles, just not be a winning player. And he's going to, and when I say he, Sean Payton, not our GM, Sean Payton is going to have to say, this guy's going to be a Bronco going forward. That's what we have to do right now. That's where we are. It's sad, but that's where we are. But Sean Payton, all the confidence in the world in him, is the guy I want doing that. Okay. I don't want Nathaniel Hackett doing it. I didn't want Vic Fangio. I didn't want Vance Joseph. I didn't want Pat Shermer. I don't want George Payton. Those guys have never did anything in the NFL. Never. As a big time decision maker. None of them. I want Sean Payton.
Let me get a few of these in here. We got Keith Brugman. Before you comment on them, Kurt, let me just get them in here. Okay, Keith Brugman, 16 points against the Raiders, 13 points against the Dolphins. Are you happy about putting up a good game against Washington? Jody Moncrief saying 64% pass, 36% run. That's a problem. It needs to be like 51 run, 49 pass. Kenny is putting not the blame on Russ. He's saying we blame some other people on offense, including Sutton. And Jody Moncrief is saying that Dom Capers is missed.
Yeah, again, and this is where I think Sean Payton is different than a lot of people. Kenny's right. Cortland Sutton should have had two more touchdowns. He's fumbling, he's dropping the ball. The two best receivers are Jerry Jeudy and Mims. So you know what, Cortland Sutton, you don't play. It's not, well, he's making $14 million. Sean Payton didn't give him $14 million, right? So what do I owe him? Right now, the best two players are Jerry Jeudy and Mims. So Cortland Sutton sits. Cortland Sutton's now our number 3 receiver. He maybe doesn't play a lot, and we move him. That's what it's going to have to be. That is what has to happen, because it's just not good. Cortland Sutton, again, I like him. Good player. After the injury, hasn't been the same, but good player. But he's never won, right? What has he won here? He's not. So give me the young, hungry kid. Get me the kid Mims. He's number 1, I think, in, reception, yards per reception. Play him. He's a home run threat. Jerry Jeudy, I love what Peyton's doing, getting them in the backfield, getting them involved. He's never been involved. I mean, come on, look at the guys he had. He had Pat Shermer running fake sweep with him. I mean, let's be real. All these people, Jerry Jeudy is a bust. Jerry Judy's not a bust. Jerry Jeudy just, nobody knows how to use him. Now we're using him a little bit, coming out of the backfield, screens here and there, Trust me, those two guys going forward, Jeudy and Mims, those are my guys. I got to weed out Sutton. Hey, if he continues to play and you got to weed him out, you weed him out. I don't care about the money. Who can eat it? That's when you have a bad team, right? And bad records and bad habits. I don't want to say bad team, but bad habits. You have to pay to get rid of that. I just can't play Cortland Sutton because he's, making the most money. Sorry. Sean Payton didn't do it.
You got a big agenda here, Mr. Valenti. So do you want to move on to Vance Joseph?
Yeah, you know what? Go to Sean Payton.
Okay, so our next topic is Sean Payton.
Yeah, so let's bring in Sean Payton. Here's a tweet by Zach Kalberman, and flat out says, this is where the people though, people are delusional, right? You have to watch the game and really have to understand. Just like he said in his tweet, the Broncos had an offensive problems for years. It's been solved. Sean Payton, check. The Broncos had a special teams problem for years. Been the worst. Right now, I think we're number 1 on punt returns. Number 1. I think we're the number 1 special team in the NFL. Check. The Broncos had a terrific defense for years. It's now a problem. You know what? Sean Payton has to get involved in that. Sean Payton's going to have to oversee that. Sean Payton, just like he said, he wanted to, everyone has to look in the mirror, including himself. But let's be realistic. The head coach is not designing a defensive game plan. It just does not work like that. He's an offensive coach. It's you can't tell him, I don't want to hear Kenny telling me, give up play calling. No. Sean Payton's one of, or if not the best play callers in football. I want him designing my offense. That's why I hired him, to design and run our offense. Defensively, he might now have to get involved a little now. And if he does, he will. But Special teams, check. Offense, check. We're not a top offense, but we are a respectable offense. We're moving the ball up and down the field. We got to get better in the red zone. We will. But both of those issues are solved.
Well, you know what? We have Keith Brugman kind of challenging that, saying 13 points and 16 points solved. Not for me.
No, you know what? Again, I just can't look at, though, it's very deceiving when you just look at 13 points, 16 points, because, again, Denver left a lot of points on that field. Again, the Raider game, I'm not putting anything on the offense. We had 6 possessions, 6, and I think we scored on 4 of them. That game is totally on the defense. Get us off the field. Same thing with Washington. Okay. And you still put up 30 points. This game, Cortland Sutton scores a touchdown. They call it back. Cortland Sutton drops a touchdown. We fumble. So, our offense was fine against Miami. Fine. Our defense has failed. Let's be real. Our defense has failed us. So right now he's come in, fixed the offense. When I say fix it, he's fixed our offense and special teams that we should be winning games with those two, with the offense and special teams. Now we got to get to the defense.
A couple things from Keith Brugman. He's saying that they left points on the field because we're horrible in the second half and certainly can't finish. And he wants to know when you think the Broncos will be relevant again.
Listen, this is the NFL is a different animal, right? Because every year you have teams, teams overachieve. This is a Broncos show. I'm not going to knock the Giants here, but we said it last year. Last year, the Giants and Dable, whatever, now they lose this year, they're going to be a last place team, right? I mean, that's the way the NFL goes. It's, there's these people who are, we're going to be good for 19 years. These people got to stop with the, I want to find my Patrick Mahomes. You had your Patrick Mahomes. Your Patrick Mahomes was John Elway. You're not going to get a Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to get, I'm going to find this diamond in the rough. You don't. If you get Caleb Williams, yeah. You have Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, we're going to get to the drafting quarterbacks of just what a circus that is and how that puts you back. But how fast? Again, I want to see what Sean Payton's going to do. I could tell you this roster is not going to be this roster beyond this year. I mean, I could promise you that. It's not going to do that. He is going to get his own people. And like I said, starting Sunday, that's what this season's about, is who does Sean Payton want? Not about money, not about cap space, not about draft picks. Who on this roster does he want going forward? That's what it's about.
All right, Kurt, let's move on to the next one. Kenny had just commented that the offense is one-dimensional, so maybe it's a good time to get into blaming Russ. What do you think?
Listen, put it up, Jen. And my statement was, if anybody is going to blame Russell Wilson for this 0-3 start, you don't know football. You don't. Here's our good friend Andrew Mason, Russell Wilson, 99.5. And again, I'm not the biggest stat guy. I'm not. But Russell Wilson, 99.5 passer rating this year. Career is 100.2. He's right there, just a half, whatever. He's not perfect, but he's vastly improved. He's not the problem. It's causing its 0-3. If anybody says that Russell Wilson is the problem, you don't know football. I mean, this offense is going up and down the field. Okay, this offense, again, like he said, it's not perfect. Our red zone's got to get a lot better, but Russ looks like Russ to me, right? Russ looks like Russ to me. So, just comical. This is Russ's fault. No, it's not. Let's be real. No, it's not. Our problem right now is on the defensive side of the ball. If our defense was average, they were average, we'd be 2-1. And I'd say that game is a lot closer on Sunday. But it hasn't. But Russell Wilson's the problem. And we're going to get it, remember, Jen, what we had, Bronco fans, since 2015. Okay? I'm going to get to, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, Case Keenum, Joe Flacco, Brandon Allen, Drew Lock, Jeff Driscoll, Brett Rippon, and Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, that's what we rolled out as starting quarterbacks. That's disgraceful. That's a joke. It's comical. And you're not going to win anything with those. You can't win on Madden with those quarterbacks. I'm not even trying to be funny. Every one of those guys is a backup quarterback in the NFL. And those are our starting quarterbacks. And now we get Russell Wilson. Okay? You get Russell Wilson. And people are going to complain that, oh my God, Russ is the problem. I mean, are you joking? If you don't see the difference with Russell Wilson as opposed to this garbage that's on this, it's garbage. Let's be realistic. Every quarterback on that board right now is garbage. I would take Peyton Manning 7 years down. I would take him now over any of these guys. None of these guys are starters. We had people saying, extend Trevor Siemian. Right now, Teddy Bridgewater, 2 years, 36. 2 years, $36 million. I'd put you in handcuffs. The guy can't get a job. He's making $6 million. They're backups. The only one in there worth anything was Drew Lock, and we never backed him. We got Pat Shurmur and Vic Fangio, who didn't want to do anything offensively. When did we did Drew Lock wrong? But everyone else on that list is flat out garbage. And
let me get a little.
And we get Russell Wilson, and people are going to complain.
Let me get a couple comments in here because they're kind of related. I put up Kenny's comment before that. Russ's second half stats, right? How they're lacking. And then Keith Brugman had said the same thing, but he also pointed out Russ in the third quarter, 54.5 completion, no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. His quarterback ranking is 32.3. He's taking 5 sacks in the fourth quarter. And Jody is countering that by saying he's getting no help, right? So we got the two sides to the story here,
Right. But I mean, it's just, we got to be realistic as Bronco fans, right? We're in we're in an era where we have Patrick Mahomes. We cannot go and say, all right, we're going to go play his Chiefs. Come on, Teddy, we're on your back. What? Like, I'll take Russell Wilson to go play Patrick Mahomes. I'll take him there. I got a shot. I got a good chance. But Teddy Bridgewater? Brandon Allen? Case Keenum? I mean, I'm not sure. If you looked at that sheet and you took a younger kid, you would go and say, well, who would, like, maybe our good friend Scoops, who's younger, he would say, well, who was the starter with those teams? Because those are the backups. No, they weren't our backups. They were our starters. It's a joke. It was a joke. We have a legit quarterback, and people are still complaining about him. Nobody's perfect. Let's be honest. Patrick Mahomes isn't perfect. Joe Burrow isn't perfect. But do people realize what they had? And now you have Russell Wilson. He's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a Super Bowl champion. And we're still complaining about him? Was it Russ's fault that Cortland Sutton dropped the touchdown? Was it Russ's fault that they called a penalty pass interference on Brandon Johnson? Is it Russ's fault that Sutton fumbled twice? I mean, come on. Like, there's no rational Bronco fan that could go and say, Russell Wilson's why we're 0-3.
How about some of Russ's stats while you're on that topic?
Yeah, put the stats again. Yep. I'm not the biggest stat person in the world, but people who throw out stats. Top 10 completions of 40 yards, right? What did Russ do good? Oh, I want to see the Seattle moonshots with Lockett and Metcalf and, Baldwin. Well, he's tied for first for the most completions of 40 yards, right? Tied for fifth, most completions of 20 yards. But he don't throw touchdown passes. Well, tied for fifth. Yards, is he throwing it deep? Kenny's asking, is he throwing it deep? He's 6th in the league. 7th for passing yards. He's Russ. That's the quarterback we got. That's the guy we wanted. It's Russ.
Let me get a couple things in here, Kurt. We've got Keith Brugman, and don't respond to this because I got one I want you to get to. Being realistic is coming to the realization that you overpaid $245 million for an older quarterback that needs a top defense and a top running game to be effective. I'm not sure. We have a comment from Joseph Sprague, and I just want to get this in because I'm not sure if he's just tuning in or, because he says defense wins games. So why isn't there more talk about that? Which I think is really, driving home your point tonight.
Absolutely, Joseph. You're 100% right. And we started off the show on this, and I'll say it again. The people that are blaming Russell Wilson are out of their minds. They're out of their mind. Our offense right now is good enough to win games if we played any kind of defense. I don't want to hear, well, we gave up 17 points to the Raiders. You couldn't get off the field. We had 6 possessions because our defense could not get us the ball. Washington, we gave you a 21-3 lead. We gave you a lead in both of those games. We gave the defense a lead in the fourth quarter. I don't care what the offense does. If you are a top defense and you have the lead in the fourth quarter, finish the damn job. That's what you should do. The offense should have scored no. This isn't Madden, okay? That's not how you win championships. You win championships with a defense. And our defense in that Washington game and the Raider game, I'm not even going to get to the debacle. Those 2 games, you had leads in the fourth quarter. Finish the job. The defense lost both of those games. I don't want to hear anything about the offense. Nothing. You get a lead in the fourth quarter, your top defense, finish it. That's it.
Kenny's saying, Kurt, 4 quarters, got to finish games, my friend. Jody replying to Keith Brugman's comment about Russ needing a good defense and a running game. He says, what quarterback doesn't? Keith Brugman saying, Hail Mary ball counts for too many of those stats. 2 big passes and 1 comes on a prayer. Jody Moncrief saying, overpaid is a quarterback in Herbert that makes more and has no playoff wins. And Jody, yep, sorry, that's it.
No, you know what, Jen? I mean, again, that's where, again, people are just, I want to find Patrick Mahomes. You're not finding Patrick Mahomes. Stop.
Well, great segue because your next topic is first round quarterback busts.
Yeah. Listen, it's just, it's so comical with oh my God, I got to draft this quarterback. And, me and Kenny are in group chats and, let's just take, we shouldn't have got Russ. We should have got Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Oh my God, Justin Fields. There's still people out there. I'm going to say this with a straight face. There's still people out there that would have rather drafted Justin Fields instead of Pat Surtain. I mean, how do you answer that? He might be the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. He probably won't be a starting quarterback after this year in the NFL. But people, you just don't take a quarterback. Oh, I'm drafted high. I got to take a quarterback. No, that's a horrendous philosophy. Horrible. If you had Trevor Lawrence, yes. But Zach Wilson, terrible. Trey Lance, worse. Mac Jones, I mean, he won't be the starter after this year. Justin Fields is probably going to be returning punts after this year. I mean, the list goes on. I heard somebody, I want Kenny Pickett. I mean, listen, that team is all about running and playing defense, and he's just controlling stuff over there. But imagine when he turns around and says, I want $40 million. I mean, forget it. Again, no offense, Kenny, but Daniel Jones, I'm not doing it. That's like this year. Hey, Caleb Williams is a special player. But oh my God, if we don't get Caleb Williams, we could get Bo Nix, Drake May. We could get the kid from LSU. If they're all gone, draft the. No, you don't work like that. You got to get your guy. If you go in and you say, my guy is Bo Nix, I don't care if I'm taking him 2, 10, or 20. then I'm gonna ride with you. But I'm not gonna, if he's gone, I'm gonna take this guy. That's terrible. How about Malik Willis? Remember? Oh my God, everybody, Malik Willis should have been a number 3 pick. Then he goes to the 3rd round. Carson Strong. Let's take a shot on Carson Strong. Carson Strong is not even in the league. There's people that wanted to take him in the 2nd round. He's not in the league. Well, maybe we can go and develop Brady Zappi. Come on. Be realistic. Brady Zappi? Come on. Like that, you're not going to win like that. Those guys don't win. You got the San Francisco 49ers. They are so lucky. So lucky. We're talking about, what John Lynch did was criminal, trading for Trey Lance. Trey Lance should never take another snap in the NFL. And they got bailed out because Shanahan bailed him out because he's such a good offensive coach that he built that offense so run dominant, and he just found a guy like Brock Purdy to sling it around a little bit. But they're a run the ball play defense team. But Trey Lance, that move, look at the Jets, right? All these people that are saying, I don't want my old quarterback. I don't want the old quarterback. I want a young quarterback. They're like, the Jets got it. They got it. The Jets are doing what all these Bronco fans want you to do. Draft and develop your young quarterback. He's horrendous. Horrendous. Number 2, you had to go out and get Aaron Rodgers, and you're banking on Aaron Rodgers at 39 coming back from, what did he tear? Is it ACL or Achilles? That's what you're banking on because your draft pick was horrendous. Enough of this. I got to find my quarterback for the next 60 years. You're not, newsflash, you're not getting Patrick Mahomes. You're not finding a Patrick Mahomes. So I'm sorry, Jen.
No, I was gonna say a lot of chatter in the comments here. Jody Moncrief pointing out that, saying overpaid for Russ. Daniel Jones makes 40, so the going rate is what Russ got. Arguing that Keith Brugman replying that Daniel Jones will give you a decade. Jody saying Russ will play for another 8 years. Just making sure I get everyone. Kenny has a question.
I want to answer Keith because he just said Daniel Jones is going to play Zach Wilson's going to play for a decade too. Trey Lance is going to play. It's not about play. They're not good. They're not good. They're busts. They are busts. That's the scary part. You can't just go and say, I want Zach Wilson. He don't work. Give me Bo Nix. He don't work. It doesn't work like that. You make a commitment to Joe Douglas's job is on the line, and he's probably going to get fired because he went with Zach Wilson. He got bailed out because he got Aaron Rodgers. And now when he went back to this quarterback, he's worse. He was the number 2 pick in the draft. You don't recover from that. Look at these quarterbacks, honestly. Trevor Lawrence, yeah. But I'm sorry. I'm taking this guy, taking Malik Willis, Levens come on. It's just, it's comical. I am not wasting time with these quarterbacks. They're like 3rd and 4th round graded quarterbacks, and I'm just taking them in the 1st round. Kenny Pickett should have never been a 1st round pick. Never.
And Keith Brugman saying the Broncos are just like the Jets. Rodgers and Russ, Broncos and Jets, exact same boat.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The Jets, again, did it right. The Jets haven't won a Super Bowl in 50 years. Right? Am I lying? No. Is it 50?
More, 69, right?
Yeah. So how many years is that? I'm sorry. I was thinking.
No, that's 50. That's 54, right?
Right. So, it's funny because all these people, draft picks, get these draft picks, Jody just nailed it. We did it. We did it with Paxton Lynch. How'd it work out? But the Jets are smart. They have a championship. They know we made a major mistake with this guy. And I want to win a Super Bowl. I got to go get Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, they're a Super Bowl contender. With this guy, how are they going to win a game? He's terrible. So this whole draft pick, And another thing, getting into the draft, I'm going to get off point for a second, Jen, is draft and develop, depth. We got to get depth. We got to get starters. We got people we talk to. They're worried about our backup tackles. We got to get a second cornerback. Mathis isn't a starter. Oh, but we need depth. Depth for what? What depth? We don't have starting. We don't have legit starters on our 20 starters, 22 guys. I'm not worried about depth. Depth. Come on. I got to get a corner. What are you going to? Oh, well, let's draft one in the 6th and develop them. Develop what? What develop them? Get me a corner. Trade for a corner. Sign a corner. I'm not going to take a shot in the dark 6th-round pick and put a... You have that with Mathis. You have it. You have it with, what's his name? The safety, Yell. There's one of your draft picks. How's he doing? He still can't understand how to line up against Miami. These are all your draft picks.
All right, let's move on, Kurt. Before we get into your next topic here, let's a quick question from Kenny that I wanted to get in. He says, serious question. Do you honestly think Peyton wants to keep Russ, or does he want to draft a quarterback for the future? What do you think Peyton wants?
You know what? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. And that's only up to Sean Payton. It's a great question. Sean Payton's the only one that can answer it. And I'm going to be honest, even though I'm a Russ guy, Jen, if Sean Payton says Russ isn't the guy and I want so-and-so, I'm 100% behind him. See, I'm behind him. I'm not behind Pat Shurmur. I'm not behind Vic Fangio. I'm not behind Nathaniel Hackett. You don't let those guys make that decision. Sean Payton, I will let him make that decision.
All right, the next thing you wanted to talk about was the Bronco tradition and the Bronco greats.
Yeah, we bring up a picture, Atwater, Elway, Terrell Davis, and we heard them all this week. I heard Rod Smith. I heard Shannon Sharp. I heard Terrell Davis. It's just, what we saw this week is a disgrace. It just cannot happen. This franchise has been Super Bowl bust every year under Pat Bowlen. That's how a great championship should be run. I'm not worried about 12 years down the road. I'm not worried about 20 years down the road. I'm worried about now. It's very hard to win a world championship. It's very hard to win a Super Bowl. And there's still people. 2 points here, Jen. There's still people who said when we got Peyton Manning in 2012, we had him for 4 years, right? 2012, 13, 14, 15. We were division champions all 4, number 1 seeds 3 out of 4 years, 2 Super Bowl appearances, and 1 Super Bowl championship. And there's still people that say, how many years has it been since 15? This is 8 years now or 7 years?
Including 15, so 15, 16,
7 years,
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is the eighth year.
Okay. Going on the 8th year. There's still people that if you said to them, hey, if you could win a Broncos Super Bowl this year, or I'm sorry, I'll go back. If you knew that after 2012, you're going to get to a Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, but then for 7 years, this is exactly what's going to happen. There's still people that say, okay, then I don't want to do that. And I just want to be relevant every year. I think that's asinine. You take a Super Bowl championship whenever you can take a Super Bowl championship. I don't really care. They went all in. Elway put that team together and they won a Super Bowl. And you know what? That's what it's about. It's only been 8 years. I mean, people, Steelers haven't won it in 8 years. Giants haven't won it in 8 years. Jets haven't won it. Patriots haven't won it. So it's still relatively new. But I'm doing that every time, 7 days a week, twice on. I'm doing that to get 1 Super Bowl. So, the standards though that these guys, Elway, Terrell, Sharp, and Smith, and Atwater, that those people took a hit on Sunday because that's not what the Denver Broncos are about. And Sean Payton, I believe, is 100% the guy to fix this, to get rid of, when I want to say, the people who don't be here, the people who don't belong here, the people who don't want to be here. So, That was disgraceful. And a lot of these Denver greats, it hurt them because they didn't, that never happened with this team. And we're going to see who the leaders on this team are going to be.
Keith Brugman saying that if you had someone who could make a draft pick, maybe you wouldn't have to buy success.
By success, Keith, the draft picks stuff is just it's a roll of the dice. It really is. Let's be totally realistic. It's a roll of the dice. Oh well, I'm gonna find my Tom Brady. You're not finding a 6th-round pick. That's never happening again. It's just be realistic. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna find these 6th-round draft picks that are gonna be
Well, I don't
Tom
know that
Brady.
that it's not going to happen again. It's that you just can't predict that. Oh, I'm going to get this guy 6th round and he's going to blow up to be the next Tom Brady. It's a risk. You don't know. I mean,
Right.
who's to say it couldn't happen again? But
Right. But
you can't
this
predict
whole
that.
philosophy of like, I want a plan. If my plan is, hey, we're going to go out. I really don't care if we win 2 games. If we get Caleb Williams is going to be this next best quarterback in NFL. I'm all in with you, Sean. I'm 100% all in. And I'm a Russ guy, but I'm all in. But I'm not all in on we got the 6th pick. I don't care who it is. We got to take a quarterback. No. That is a horrendous philosophy. Horrendous. Just to start, I need whatever quarterback is there. No, that's not how you win.
Let's get away from the draft picks and move into your next topic, which is keepers moving forward.
Yeah. Again, everybody here, there's nobody safe. Nobody's safe. Mims, again, now these are Sean Payton's guys, right? Mims, what I love about what he's been doing with Jerry Jeudy, use them in the backfield a little, got him set up to where he's one-on-one. You see, like, that's what a coaching staff does. That's what a play caller does. It uses your talent, So personally, I love the Mims with the Jerry Jeudy. Now you get Tim Patrick. If Tim Patrick can come back, or you get somebody in the role of a Tim Patrick, and there's your 3 receiver set going forward. Javonte Williams, love it. I think, listen, heart and soul, the way this guy plays, that's your starting running back. P. Ryan, you have your McLaughlin as your 3rd guy. Your combination, if you want it to be P. Ryan, you want to draft somebody younger, but Javonte Williams is that guy. Surtain, oh my God, I'm going to trade Surtain for a pick. Why? You're not going to get anybody better than him. So why trade him? Like, that's what boggles my mind. Let's trade Jerry Jeudy for a 4th-round pick. What are we going to do with that 4th-round pick? You ain't getting a receiver better than Jerry Jeudy. So isn't it stupid to do it? Right? It's stupid to do it. Why am I we need talent. As much as we're blaming the coaching, Jen, for Sunday, just the talent was ridiculous. Like, besides Surtain, we couldn't put anybody to cover Tyreek Hill. They didn't even have Waddle.
Well, Jody Moncrief is agreeing with you, saying the only safe guy is Patrick Surtain.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not into that. We're talking with our other Denver friends. Like, let's trade Jeudy for 4. Why? We did that I was talking to Kenny the other day. The stupidest thing we did was we traded Von Miller for those picks. We wound up Nick Benito, and the other one I think was a guard. Like, when is Nick Benito going to help us in 2060? I mean, let's go now, Nick. Let's go. Like, I'd still rather have Von Miller. That's where the talent we can't just give away talent for useless draft picks that become nothing. It doesn't make sense. We could have 18 picks. What does it mean? It means nothing. We need starters. We need stars. We got to get a second corner. Come on.
We got Kenny saying, all joking aside, the season isn't over after 3 games, especially with the 17 game season now. 2 winnable games equals confidence and momentum.
Absolutely. But again, like, it's not even about wins and losses right now. We have to find out who's going to be on this team. I see kids sell the farm. I was
just going to put that one up. Yeah.
No, I'm not, For what? What is our plan? Sell the farm and get who? Get what are we going to get? Sell the farm for what? I'm going to trade out all these people for someone want to give me a number 2 pick for Justin Simmons? I'll do that. I'm not giving him up for a 4th round pick. For what? Think about it.
This,
Look,
this is where
who's played this year? Where's Riley Moss? Oh, he's coming. Like, you can't, okay, we're going to develop. I want depth. Stop. Everyone complains about the offensive line, right? You drafted Dalton Reisner, gone, right? Cushenberry, everybody wants him gone, drafted. Who else? I'm trying to think of who else? Like the right tackle spot. Those are all drafted guys. Everybody that you got was drafted. So they're no good. We got to go pay Powers and McGlinchey because our draft, you can't say it's all because the draft people, the people drafted wrong. I mean, come on.
you got Keith Bregman saying rebuild, and then we have Jody saying to reload.
Exactly. Who said reload?
Jody, of course.
Yeah, that's what it is. It is reload. There's no reason. Russell Wilson, Javonte Williams, Pirine, Mims, Jerry Jeudy, right there. You got to get a tight end. That offense isn't ready to go. Like, that's not ready to go. What else do you want? I mean, do you want McCaffrey and Jamar Chase? Like, be realistic. It's not going to happen. Our offense is set. Our skill guys are set. We're young, okay, explosive. We got to get a tight end, whether Dulcich is the guy or not. But I'm not trading Javonte Williams to pick a running back in the 4th round. Why would I downgrade? What am I doing on that? It's not how you get better. You don't get better like that. This thought of all these draft picks, right? I'm gonna go into the NBA for a second, Jen. Look at the Celtics. They got all these draft picks. Who'd they get? Nobody. They never got anybody out of it. They got worse.
Keeps asking you how deep are those skill positions.
But again, I can't worry about deep if I can't get starters, right? That's the thing. And who's deep? Let me ask you something. Are the Chiefs deep? Seriously, are the Chiefs deep? Who are the 49ers deep at the skill position? Who's the 49er backup receivers? Who's the 49er backup tight end behind Kittle? It's who's the Cowboys had to go get Brandon Cooks. They had nothing. Like, who's when you say deep, I don't understand. What do you want? Our 6th receiver to be Mike, Keenan Allen? I mean, that's unrealistic. Before we worry about deep and depth, let's get 22 legit starters. Mathis is not a legit starter. Okay. I'll be honest. I don't know if Josie Jewell is a legit starter. Our safeties are a mess. We don't have a second safety. Kareem Jackson's not a starter. Is Caden Stern a starter? He's always hurt. We don't have a nickel back. We don't have a linebacker to cover. So I'm worried about that before I'm worried about receiver depth. I'm not worried about receiver depth. Those guys aren't going to play. So I can't worry about, injury. I can't worry about that because then who's the backup? I mean, the Jets are in a Super Bowl window. They didn't have a quarterback. What was their depth at quarterback? We can say that about all the teams.
So, Kurt, Kenny made a good point before about, having 2 winnable games coming up. So why don't we move on to the next 2 weeks of action?
Okay, let's finish up. Yeah, listen, this is, again, it's a gut check. It's really, this is going to show what this team is really made of. You're playing 2 of the worst quarterbacks in football. They're just, I'll say it again. These guys are not starting quarterbacks in the NFL. They're not going to be starting quarterbacks after this year. They might not even be on rosters in 2 years. They're bad. They were both terrible picks. Justin Fields, just an absolute joke. All he does is run. He developed. He hasn't developed anything in the NFL. He could blame coaches. You could blame. Listen, you could put him with Bill Walsh. He's not going to develop. He is who he is. Can't read a defense. All he wants to do is run. And again, just typical Ohio State quarterback. Just terrible. Zach Wilson's another guy next week. We're probably not even going to see him. We're probably going to see Trevor Siemian, which, listen, Trevor Siemian just play 10 yards. He doesn't throw it past it. So play 10 to 20 yards. He won't, just the Bill Belichick theory. But, this defense, you got to have pride. You got to see who's going to be a Bronco going forward. I mean, if you're not embarrassed, now we're not even talking about Vance Joseph and Sean Payton. Like, this is on the players. You're getting paid very nice. Randy Gregory, Justin Simmons, Allen, Nick Bonito, your second round pick. Nick Bonito, do you realize we traded our best defensive player, Super Bowl MVP Von Miller for you? That's what we traded to get you, was Von Miller. Do you look like you do anything like Von Miller? I mean, you can't even start. We lost that trade. We got draft picks, right? There's those draft picks. Let's get them. We got Nick Bonito. Does he play? Can't even crack the lineup. We don't have a pass rush and we can't play Nick Bonito. We lost that trade bad. So these two quarterbacks, this is all about, again, it's not about look down the road. I don't care. 14 games left. This game's about Sunday. What is this defense going to do? How prideful are you going to be? And, where do we go from there? What is your mentality? It's not like, oh, there goes we're not going to shut everybody out, but we can't do what we did Sunday. We can't do that. And if you don't respond, then you got to get rid of Vance Joseph, because when they said Monday morning was bad, and it should have been bad. They probably got, chewed out. And if you know that you can't step up for your coach, and when I'm not saying Sean Payton, your defensive coordinator, you can't step up for him in this game, it's not going to happen. And then changes have to be moved, and then changes have to be made. There's going to be changes no matter what, but we got to be realistic now going into what's going on with this season. It's about, I heard Mike McGlinchey today. It's insane where people are saying season's over. Come on. It's 3 games. Win these next 2, you're right back in it. But you got to win them. You can't play good. You got to win them. There's no reason why you shouldn't win them. You should blow these 2 teams out. Especially Chicago. Jets got a good defense. But with the quarterbacks, this defense should eat these guys up. So that's my thoughts on these next 2 games, Jen. But listen, let's not get crazy. There's a lot in the season. I don't want to hear this is Russ's fault. It's so anybody who blames Russ, again, just get into a reality check of what has been there the past 8 years. I just read them off before, Jen. Again, if you had somebody that didn't know, that really didn't watch the Broncos, and Jen, and I gave you that list, can you imagine what those people are probably saying? Like, these guys are backups. Who was your starter? Joke. You got Russell Wilson. Embrace him. You have a legit Hall of Fame quarterback. Don't worry about him. Worry about the other side of the ball.
All right, it's time to wrap things up, Mr. Valenti. What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts, again, it's over. I honestly, I don't want to hear anymore. I don't want to hear about 70 to 20, 700 yards, Mike McDaniels. It's over. Listen, that's done. Get it. Burn the tape. It's done. You can't go back. It's over with. Move on. Now we see going forward who's going to be a Bronco. That's now the evaluation period starts. So my final thoughts, we're going to see. We're going to see on Sunday what this defense is going to do. You can't get more embarrassed than you did, Jen. We're going to see how this defense steps up.
Well, thank you for a great show. Thank you, everybody, for watching and commenting. And we will see you again soon for another Let's Talk Broncos with Mr. Kurt Valenti.
You said Broncos a little weird, but I'm going to end it with go Broncos.